Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So I had a bit of a blip is a bit of an understatement. Okay, so what's happened with me, and I feel like you need to know this because it is coming through in my own readings. So my own things that are going on personally for me are coming through in the readings that are intended for certain signs. So you need to know that why that's happening. But also, I believe that, we're all humans, we're having a human experience on Earth. And just because something's happened to me personally, it doesn't mean that it's not happening as well for you guys, right? Some of us are on the same wave. So I don't want to not do readings just because I found something personally from them. But I found that some of the stuff that was coming through in the practice reading, in the Aries reading, and the Taurus reading, which will have been up by the time I put this reading up. I'm going to put Taurus and Gemini up together. Something happened, and the stuff that was in those readings I was absolutely seeing in real life. Now, what happened was I recorded Taurus's reading on Tuesday morning, just an absolutely normal day for me, only my children were off school, there was a teacher strike, my children were off, so apart from that, totally normal day. Sat down, did the Taurus reading, finished it. It was all ready to go. It was uploading and processing. And I got a phone call that my dad had gone to A&E. Now, my dad had gone to A&E with chest problems, and I was like, good, because he's had this for a while and it's been bothering him. I'm glad he's going to get it sorted, because it was bothering me that, I kept on nagging him. I was like, go back to the doctor, get more antibiotics and things like this. And he didn't come out of A&E. He went in Tuesday morning, and they told him, you're not going to survive the night. So I got that lovely phone call, and I went to see him, and I spent almost the entire time with him. Yeah, I'm thankful that I got to say goodbye. Not, you don't always get to say goodbye. I don't think he got to say goodbye to his own dad. It was very, very sudden. So I think I've always been prepared for my dad to go suddenly, because his dad did. So I think I've kind of steeled myself for that. So obviously you won't, obviously I'm it's hugely upsetting. It's a shock. It's something that I'm processing. It's something that I'm dealing with. I'm very, very thankful to have found my own coping mechanisms, my own belief system around what happens to us. When we cross, I don't think my dad's gone anywhere. I can still feel him all around me. I can still feel him constantly. He's not, to me, he's not gone. He's changed. And our relationship has changed with that. So, different people have different belief systems, or don't develop a belief system around what happens after death. And, some of us have ways of coping that suit us more than it suits somebody else, and all these different things. So yeah, I have to be upfront and honest and talk about that with you. And absolutely, even if you watch, I think it was Taurus's reading had these two bees, and I was in the hospital, and obviously there was a lot going on, and I stopped at one point and thought, I've been seeing the bees. I saw the two bees from Taurus's reading. I was like, where were they? And there was two very significant bees. And as I was talking about this with my partner kind of afterwards, he said something, he pointed to a literal sign and said, that's a sign, because something on the sign was something that we'd just been talking about. And as he pointed to this billboard and said, that's a sign, two buses with bees on went past. So there was the two bees again, which was the sign. And so obviously I am an intuitive. I do carry that kind of psychic energy. I kind of was prepared for what was happening, just because of the signs and the symbolism and the communication that I have with my guides. So it was a surprise, it was a shock, but it's not like I didn't see it coming as well. He's been ill. I think some of the things that he was doing, he also knew it was coming, because there were things that he was trying to do that he hadn't wrapped up. So one of your messages actually is to make sure you tie up loose ends. One of your songs was Summertime Sadness by Lana Del Rey, and one of the lines is, if I go, I'll die happy tonight. So I am encouraging everybody to kind of not procrastinate. do the things that you need to do, be prepared. One of the lines that kept coming into my head as I was sat in the hospital with my dad was the Hamlet lines. If it be now, let it not be now. If it not be now, let it come. You know, and my dad kept on saying, "Come on, come on, come on, come on." And you know, it's that Hamlet thing of, you know, the preparedness is all, and he wasn't quite prepared. He was trying to be prepared, but he wasn't quite prepared. So yeah, it's funny, like a couple of extra days and he would have finished everything that he wanted to do, but he didn't. So yeah, the preparedness is all. Don't procrastinate. And also live in the moment and live in the present. This is something that my dad was very good at. He enjoyed his life, you know. He did things that brought him pleasure. He was very sociable. He liked to go out visiting friends and kind of going out to eat, drinking in bars. He had a very active social life. He lived. So that's another thing as well. Don't be afraid to live your life. You know, be happy. Do the things that make you happy. Yeah, no loose ends there. What else? There could be something about clothing, particularly cardigans and high heels and possibly boots, because these are things that were referenced in the songs that I was listening to as I was preparing for your reading. It mentions high heels in Summertime Sadness and also in Cardigan by Taylor Swift, so it could be something about clothing. Cardigan has, when you are young, they assume you know nothing. So there's something about, I don't know, something about that line. When you are young, they assume you know nothing. I actually want to read some of the lines from that song. I kind of screenshotted them as it was playing. Yeah, and Boots is playing now by Kesha. So clothing items, maybe you're going through your wardrobe, you know, with this card here, right? Maybe you're having a makeover with the self, right? A new identity, definitely with the Chimera and the Hydra, which I'll talk about in a moment. You could definitely be reinventing yourself, kind of making the outside reflect the inside, maybe getting a haircut because you have this hair here, Gemini. So yeah, that could be something for you. But Cardigan by Taylor Swift. So what I've screenshotted is, but I knew you, dancing in your Levi's, drunk under a streetlight. I knew you. Hand under my sweatshirt. I mean, that wasn't my dad, but hand under my sweatshirt, baby, kiss it better. And when I felt like I was an old cardigan under somebody's bed, you put me on and said I was your favourite. So it's a really, really nice thing. Also, a friend to all is a friend to none. Maybe this is something that somebody said to you. You've also got this, well, King Midas put his hands on me again. So again, just be careful kind of if you're going out and where the boundaries are with other people. You know, don't let people touch you if you don't want to be touched. So, you know, you can put those boundaries up. He said, one day I'd realise why I don't have any friends. So again, that thing, a friend to all is a friend to none. Could be something for somebody. I find myself alone at night unless I'm having sex, but he can make me golden if I just showed some respect. But I don't let him touch me anymore. Again, this isn't my relationship with my dad, just kind of like make that clear. This is now Gemini's reading. I'm not something to butter up and taste when you get bored, because I've spent too many nights on dirty bathroom floors to find some peace and quiet right behind a wooden door. So again, there could be something about again, with this idea of like the self, right? What suits me, what doesn't suit me? Am I doing anything? Am I doing things to please others? Am I doing things because it's right for me? Who in my life am I stuck in a cycle with? So let me talk about your cards here for a second. You've got the dance. The dance has been coming up quite a lot this week. It was in the collective reading, so you can go back and watch that if you're interested in the dance. The dance to me in my own personal deck talks about kind of almost like a chess game, right? A chess game, but it's like there has to be forward and backwards, right? There has to be teamwork, there has to be movement, coordinated movement, strategic movement, learned patterns of footwork. So all these kind of things that could be coming up. You've got the guardian. The guardian can be talking about somebody who is a guardian to you. Perhaps this is a parent or guardian, you know, somebody who has responsibility for you or responsibility for something. The guardian is kind of like I'm going to say curator because that's coming from an old Latin word, which kind of we get that word curator from old Latin because it kind of means to take care of or to be a guardian of. So like the root of the word. So again, like the carer, the guardian, the person who's responsible for something or someone. The sword is again, can be a symbol of authority. If you think about how kings would sometimes have a very ornate sword as a symbol of their status, as a symbol of their authority, as a symbol of their command. Swords are also associated with action and communication. So they're also visible, as opposed to something like a dagger, right? I've got a dagger card as well. This is something that is seen, it's authority that's seen, it's a truth that's seen. So Guardian kind of says to me, it can also be, the Guardian can also be your inner guardian, right? The guardian of your own soul, the part of you that protects you, the part of you that sees red flags, the part of you that says, hey, we've done this before, we know this pattern, we know this situation. Let's protect you, right? So the protective parts of your subconscious. So with the self as well, and again with this kind of shadow, it does talk to me about anima and animus, which to me again is it's the parts of ourselves that, it can be a projection, right? It can be the shadow self, but again it tends to be protective in some sort of way, also associated with kind of Lilith energy or South Node energy, which again this set of readings is talking about tapping into those kind of hidden parts of ourselves, and understanding them better and not fearing them, and cooperating with our hidden selves, and understanding that our fears are often a projection of something that we feel we lack. So when we address those fears and we take responsibility for the things that those fears are associated with, we can become more confident, and we can kind of like work with those shadows. So again, Carl Jung shadow work, it's something that you can look into. I do think there's something that's been really healed here because the nectar's here. I was talking about the nectar again, I think in Taurus's reading, again with the bees, right? So the nectar, we were getting the venom card, and the venom card is things that are toxic, things that are you know, it can be, in my case, it was disease, because my dad died of a contagious disease, which is interesting because the Hydra and the Chimera, the Hydra kind of has like breathes kind of like poison or bacteria, and the Chimera breathes fire. So this idea of like, I want to say there's a message here coming through in the reading, and especially through what I've experienced in real life this week. You know, be careful if you have something that's contagious, because it could be something that you could recover from. But if there's people around you who are like elders or, you know, immune compromised, they may not be able to fight something so easily. So again, just wear your face masks if needs be. If you've got, you know, if you're compromised, or you're going into an area where you think there might be a lot of germs, wear your face mask. And again, if you feel like you have a bug, just, you know, take precautions, don't spread it, because again the Hydra is a energy of things spreading, right? Every time you cut off the head, more spring back in its place. So yeah, with these animals, I want to say just be careful about you know, spreading illness. And we could also adapt this and say it could be about gossip. There's it talks about gossip in these two cards. You know, just be careful about what you're saying, who you're saying it to. Maybe just make sure you're saying nice things about people. You're not talking about people in a nasty way behind the back. Obviously, I think there are situations where you need to have someone to talk to figure things out for yourself. So it could be that you've say it's a colleague, right? Say you've got a colleague and they rub you up the wrong way, or, you know, they just keep doing something, you know, again with this idea of like repetitive cycles, you know, they keep doing something that's really bothering you, and you know, you can bottle that up and not talk about it, again, because perhaps you don't want to say anything bad about someone, perhaps you're a nice person. One of these cards actually talks about being nice. I think it's the Hydra, about being nice and being taken advantage of. That kind of being taken advantage of. So just be wary of that as well. You know, there's a difference between being bitchy and gossiping for the drama, and talking to somebody that you trust because you need a soundboard to kind of like figure things out with. So there's a difference between those two things. So again, just be careful about what you're saying, who you're saying it to, and is it necessary to say it? You know, is there a better way? It's kind of like, it's not that case of if you've not got anything good to say, don't say it, because I think that's kind of toxic in itself. But it's a case of like, be careful. just be careful. There's something going on with the numbers here as well. You've got 31, 22, 11 and 32. You may be seeing a lot of number patterns. What's this here as well? That's 29. Maybe something about, maybe this is your age. Maybe you're around the ages, between the ages of around 29 to 32. So it could be talking about, or perhaps you're older, and it could be talking about what happened when you were that age. Is this something that you've not dealt with at those ages? What's going on in that time span for you of your life? But also, as I was about to start the reading, there was a lot of ones and fours on my phone. So the temperature was 14%, my battery was 41, so immediately we've got the mirror number of 1441, and also the time was 1444. So lots of ones and fours. So again, there could be something about changes. Ones and fours break down to fives, which is about changes, but just watch out for number patterns. You could be seeing a lot of them right now. Again, it could just be a way that your guides, your ancestors communicate with you. Sorry, just, yeah, really feeling my dad around. A funny thing is, I play Wordle, and my dad plays Wordle, and it's something we kind of bonded over. And it was funny as well, he was talking, when he was a little bit delirious, he was talking about crosswords. Maybe something about crosswords, like angry words could be something for somebody. But yeah, I was trying to do Wordle in the hospital room when he was awake, and I was kind of going, I need help, because I was really struggling with it. The word at the time, it's funny, we've got the dance. The word was poker, right? Like, that's a dance, right? Doing the poker, or polka dots. And it was a tricky word, and I had some of the letters, and I was going through, I was like using all my rows up, and I was like, I'm not gonna get it. I was like, I need help, Dad. I need help with this word, because he'd already done it earlier in the day, bless him. Yeah, eventually I got out of him that it started with a P. And I did it. But it's funny because when he was present, I was really struggling with Wordle, and I've kind of been doing it again just to kind of like, just as a distraction, and because it's something that was a bonding thing with my dad. I've carried on doing it over the past few days, and I've been getting them almost immediately. Like, I couldn't believe yesterday I got it within a minute. It was like 30 seconds, 2 rows, 30 seconds, and I got it. I think I started with the word dance as well, which was funny. Yeah, I think it was the word dance, and I got like 2 letters, and I just got it. I can't even remember what the word was. And I was like, well, there you go, my dad is around and he's helping me. And can you hear all the confirmations on my phone? Just checking what that is actually, because I do, obviously there are a lot of people that I'm talking to, kind of family and things. So yeah, just, I don't want to miss any messages. Yeah, why am I doing a reading? Because I think it's important to have a sense of normalcy when things happen. I think it's important to keep trying to do things. So yes, I've spent a lot of time in bed. Yes, I've spent a lot of time with my family. I've been putting laundry through, because again, I'm trying to be like, keep a sense of the day-to-day and continuality and normalcy, especially for the children. And yeah, I've forgot the washing and left it in the washing machine overnight last night, so that's going to stink. Well done me. But yeah, because the readings, they are through tarot and spirituality and the things that I've been doing over the past few years, it's incredibly healing to me. And yoga and meditation and being careful about my health, all these things have got me to a place where I'm very, very emotionally balanced and capable at the moment, and I'm not bottling things up. I'm just at a place where I'm very emotionally strong, and I feel like I'm dealing with things very, very well, which I don't know if I would have been in that place before I discovered these kind of things. So they're helpful to me. They are the nectar for me. So again, if I can pass on some of the principles of this, or even just say one thing that's going to help one person one day, I think it's worth doing. Yeah. Also, it's like, I did that Taurus reading, it's just been sat there, and I'm like, I didn't want to put it up too soon, because there was stuff in it that I was kind of like, I was still reeling from, I was still processing, and I thought, is this my reading? Is it not Taurus's reading? But ultimately, I feel like, you know, again, the idea of shared experiences, just because I'm going through something doesn't mean somebody else isn't going through the same thing. So yeah, I'm going to put Taurus's reading up, but just so you know, it's, I don't know, could be something to do with like the timing of things, like the, you know, divine timing or something like that. It was done on Tuesday morning, just to make you aware, and this one is being done Saturday evening. There could be something about novelty and longevity, you know, especially in terms of like, is someone trying to sell you something? Again, you've got a lot of clothes, so maybe somebody's buying new clothes. Are you buying something because it's the fashion of the moment and it's not something that really suits you, but it's because everybody else is buying one, you're buying one? Just be really careful about how you're being sold things, and try to look for longevity over novelty. There's that polarity coming through in your readings. So I've got things like false beauty or surface level beauty or value, things that are beautiful to sell, things that are polished. I've got the word polish and bow, you know, like something with a bow on it, but it's not really, there's no really no value there. That could be something for somebody. So your ability to discern true value could be important for you at this time. Just watch out for Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords came out, which talks about deception, especially around finances, because yeah, again, like, you may be being sold something that's very it's bright and shiny, it looks good on the surface, but there's no value to it. But you've also got Price Tag by Jessie J. So a lot of songs, actually, a lot of songs about for example, I had like is it Rich Girl by Gwen Stefani? If I was a rich girl, na 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 na. And Price Tag, it's not about the money, we just want to see the world dance. So there's a lot of stuff about about that theme. I'm going to leave that there. Just be careful about pretending to like something because it's popular to like it. You know, be authentic, especially with the self here and the, you know, the truth inside. What heals you? With the Nectar card, I was getting what heals you. What is your inner truth? Who are you without any outside interference? So again, we're getting identity is coming through as well with her. So who are you on the inside? If there's something going on for you, take a step back from the situation. You could be getting kind of like caught up in something. Remember who you are. Maybe just spend a minute looking in the mirror. Listen to some songs that really make you feel like yourself, if that makes any sense. And just remember who you are. Remember your own values. Remember your truth. You know who you are. Again, especially if there's gossip around you, people are saying nasty things about you. You know who you are. You know your truth. It doesn't matter. You know, it's like God sees the truth. God sees who you are if you believe in God or spirit, you know, your guides, you know, who you are at your soul, at your core, it is seen by the people who matter. And then that kind of like, you know, shallow, earthly, tittle tattle, maybe a little bit of slander, you know, it's bestial, it's bestial, and it's low vibrational. So, you know, people who are like that are gonna get tattled about as well. So, you know, just be high vibrational, be serene. Look at this girl's face, she's very serene. So I was seeing rabbits. I kind of in meditation I had something where it was like two energies were kind of like running along with each other, and then they turned into two squirrels. They actually transformed, so they turned into two squirrels and then they turned into two rabbits. So it's interesting with this idea of like regeneration and different animals with the Hydra and Chimera here. So again, Gemini, you are known as a bit of a chameleon in the zodiac. You are known as you know, not being one thing but being the twins, right? So you are multifaceted. You understand duality. You understand complex personalities, right? Nobody's one thing. We're not a character on a movie screen that's one dimensional, two dimensional. We've got depth to us. We've got depth to our character, you know, and we can reinvent ourselves. Every day is a new day. So cycles here with hair. It tells me, and especially learning, cycles and learning, tell me that you could be stuck in a cycle. And it's like, until you find yourself in this, right? It's like, you could be running into like, you know, something keeps on happening. It keeps on happening again and again and again. And you're like, why is this happening again? It's like, because there's something that you need to learn about yourself through this experience. And until you learn that truth about yourself, your guardians, right, those spirits that are protecting you and helping you to learn and have that soul growth, are going to keep on putting you in this situation, because until you get it, right, until you learn, until you understand it, it's kind of like that thing about like you do it again, you do it again, you do it again until you eventually learn. It's kind of like an old-fashioned learning technique. Regeneration though, regeneration with the Hydra growing back its heads, right? Every time a head's cut off, one grows back. And the idea of synergy with the Chimera. Now, so we have this creature the Hydra with multiple heads, right? But all the heads are the same. Now with the Chimera, now I don't believe it had multiple heads. It had the body of a goat, I believe, so it could like climb hills really easily. It had the face of a lion, so it was fierce, and it had the tail of a serpent. In this particular image, it has 3 heads. So what is telling me this idea of multiple heads, right? Multiple faces, multiple masks, multiple ways, Gemini, for you of approaching a situation. You're not a one-dimensional character, right? You can adapt, you can change, you can take a different approach. And I would say that Spirit's encouraging you to do this. So if you feel like you've been stuck in a cycle, if you feel like, you know, those dreams where you open a door and you run and you open a door and you're back at the first door and you keep repeating the same thing, it's like, do it a different way, right? Adapt. You can't change the situation, but you can adapt the way that you approach the situation. So there could be some kind of change that needs to happen within you to help you take a different approach, right? It's like select a different character. If you imagine like your life was a computer game, all right, and you get at the character selection screen, or even like it's your character, but you're choosing like different abilities, right? Maybe you're going to be like warrior class, maybe you're going to be stealth, maybe you're going to be a healer, right? If you've been doing this before and it's like this is happening again, choose a different character class, right? Do it a different way. And I think that's going to help you. Okay, especially with the nectar, because again, the nectar is the antidote to the venom, right? The nectar heals. So it's really good that that's in this deck, because it actually feels very positive. It really does feel like you're healing something through having those repeated experiences. So well done, gems. The last thing I'm going to do before I put cards on camera is just go ahead and check my battery, actually. What is my battery? We've got a little bit of time. We're good. I'm just going to check my notes because I've been getting a lot of kind of like intuitive visions. My high priestess energy is like mega strong right now, as you would expect it to be, having been in the situation I've been in. So yeah, really fully active at the moment. So I've got a huge amount of songs. So many songs were coming through that day with my dad, and a lot of songs, a lot of visuals, a lot of intuitive prompts. So some of the ones that came through overnight, I saw a brown dog. It could be called something like Fluffy or Toffee, because I heard it sounded, I missed the start of it. So say the name was Fluffy, it was like, Fluffy, you've pushed him over, in a woman's voice. So maybe somebody's dog has pushed someone over. Star Spangled Banner. I was getting oh say does the Star Spangled Banner yeah blah. I think is that the American national anthem? I don't know. And I was getting Please Release Me by Elvis. I got that twice, actually. It came through, and it came through again very, very strongly. Please release me, let me go, for I don't love you anymore. To live a lie would be a sin, so release me and let me love again. Take it as you will. Okay, let's get started then. Gems. How am I feeling? How is your energy? Let me just tap into. You could be, if you've been, I was getting a pinprick on the back of my hand, which again makes sense. If you've been caring for other people, Gemini, specifically if you are, I do have a caretaker card which hasn't come out, but you've got the Guardian card. If you're caretaking for somebody, if you're responsible for somebody, perhaps for somebody who is sick or has special needs, or something where you have somebody who's kind of dependent on you at this time and you're playing that role of caretaker, be very, very careful about your own health. You know, especially as well if they have some kind of something that's contagious and you're playing caretaker, you don't want to also get sick, because that's going to inhibit your ability to care for others. So just remember to look after yourself. Remember to take any measures that you need to. They're showing me my teas. I've got a lot of herbal teas at the moment. I've recently got, I was having trouble sleeping, and I find what really works well for me, along with like yoga and meditation and those kind of things, and, you know, cutting back on alcohol, something that really works well for me is Sleepy Tea by Twinings. It's the purple one. and I finally went and got it. I tried a Sainsbury's one with valerian root, which makes me go to sleep, but it doesn't make me stay asleep. So I'm like, no, I need something that's going to help the quality of sleep. And for some reason, that Twinings sleepy tea works really well for me. And also magnesium works really well for me. So again, make sure you're getting enough sleep, because sleep is your time to heal. This came through strongly in Taurus's reading. So yeah, if you're not sleeping very well, kind of look at you again with, maybe if you need to, the help of a doctor or a nutritionalist, and do your own research onto this. I'm not qualified to give medical advice or nutritional advice, but if you are having trouble sleeping, maybe do look at your food and what you're putting into your body, what's helping you sleep, what's hindering you sleep, because again, less alcohol. My nails look really yellow because of the white nail varnish when I turn them over, so I'm sorry, gross. Sorry. I'll have to keep them this way. So again, like for me, I know, again, my sleep is yes, you know, if things are going on, it can affect my sleep if I've got things on my mind, but I've really made sure that I've taken care of my own health, because it's important through this time. So less alcohol, magnesium tablets, and sleepy tea, and yeah, that's getting me right. What else? I've also got ginger tea, which is what I've got kind of here. It's like in the bottom of my copy can. It looks a bit gross, but I've just had a ginger tea. Lemon is really good for putting in your tea, because again, it helps. It's got antioxidant qualities and antibacterial qualities. Honey, and also what else have I been having? Green tea. Green tea is kind of like a superfood. Again, my dad. I don't know if I should say or not, but I did look up kind of what can help with that, and green tea was one of the things. So again, I've been drinking green tea. So green tea is so good. It has antioxidants. It's so good for so many things. So definitely, again, look at specific things that you can introduce into your diet. Again, if you've got any particular health concerns, you do it with a nutritionalist or a doctor. I'm going to stop going on about that because I'm repeating myself. I'm sorry. Maybe it's really important. Maybe it's really, really important for you to do that. Maybe it's something about your animals as well. If you've got animals, if you're caring for an animal at this time, you know, check their diet, especially if they've changed in terms of like their age. You know, like kittens and puppies they have different nutritional needs to, you know, normal cats and dogs. And then again, when your cats and dogs get over a certain age, they have those like 7+ foods, because again, they need like more stuff for the joints and things like that. So yeah, if you've not kind of reevaluated your pet's diet for a while, maybe it's time to do that as well. Maybe again, just have a chat with your vet. Say, is there anything particularly that you think would be beneficial for me to add to my pet's diet at this time? Watch their weights. Wolf. The rose. So maybe you've got a dog that's kind of like a wolf. The beast as well that I call it the beast, the animal that just came out there as well, is that kind of wolfish nature. So they do want me to talk about this. I did kind of think about it, especially because you had that self card and we were talking about your shadow. Don't hide from your own shadow. You know, if there's anything that provokes you, if there's anything that you're scared of, if there's anything that you feel, again, we're really talking about Lilith energy in these readings, which is you know, our challenges. So anything that challenges us, anything that makes us feel, I don't know, provoked and angry, anything that makes us feel fearful, anything that we shy away from, anything that we find difficult to actualize in ourselves, it's really important to not shy away from that, but to accept those parts of ourselves and to dive into them and to really look at ourselves in the mirror and understand why those things are fears for us, why those things are triggers for us. It helps us to, rather than be ruled by those things, you know, and forever be stuck in the cycles where those things control us. That's where the devil has the reins on us. You know, that if the devil, right, this is my thing at the moment. If the devil has a chain on us, that chain's, it's like a tug of war, right? It's like if he can pull on it, you can pull on it, is the kind of way it's coming through metaphorically. So anything that is an Achilles heel for us, we can Achilles heel, maybe somebody just has to watch their Achilles tendon. Anything that's kind of an Achilles heel for us, anything that's a weakness, anything that is you know, our Lilith, we can flip it and reverse it and make it work for us. We can own it. We can David and Goliath that thing, right, where we face it. So it only controls us if we let it control us. We put on the chains. So what is your inner wolf telling you? What is your wild side coming to you? And kind of like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde energy. I know Bommy Spirit was talking about that in one of her readings as well. What part of you wants to come out and play, and why? And why is that why is that part of you not being fed? What does it need? How can you feed it in a healthy way? Now the rose as well, I did actually see a rose blossoming. Again, it was very beautiful and cathartic for me through meditation, again, dealing with my dad's passing. The rose can talk about you blossoming, your soul blossoming, kind of like increasing complexity and increasing, what is it? It's like it's when it comes through in terms of the soul, it's talking about soul growth. It's again this idea of blossoming, of kind of leveling up, of becoming something more greater, especially if it's something like a rose, because it's like it gets more petals, right? It gets more layers to it. So this is something where you're adding more layers to your personality in terms of your kind of wolfish side, I want to say. Okay, what else do we have, please, for Gemini? I really feel like you're healing something. You're healing something within. It's like you're coming to terms with something, some part of yourself. You're exploring a part of your identity that you've not really explored before, and I want to say it's helping you to break old patterns, break old cycles. Because again, it could be that you've shied away from taking responsibility for certain things in the past. God, the crows are really, really out and about today, guys. Again, the crows do communicate to me, like when it's that time for people. I'm not saying it's that time for anyone right now. Like they're actually very calm. They're not cawing. If they're kind of cawing and they're agitated and they're kind of like making a big fuss, it's kind of almost like a warning sign for me. Like as I was going into the hospital to see my dad the first time, there was two, there you go, confirmation. There were two crows cawing. And when my neighbour passed away, the crows were going absolutely crazy outside my house. It was like they woke me up. So the crows, listen, there's some augury going on with the crows is what I'm saying, but they're flying around a lot, so it's like the presence is still there, but there's no immediate danger. It's the way it's coming through. The vow. So the vow, what are you committed to? Do you have to this card asks, what are you committed to? What promises have you made? Have you been fulfilling those promises? Do you need to reevaluate right now and say, where have I been failing on the things that I've promised? Where have I been failing on the commitments I've made? Do I need to double down? Do I need to work harder? Do I need to recommit to things? Or is it time to say, do you know what? I don't think this path is right for me anymore. I need to kind of like, I need to let this vow go. I need to let this promise go, and I need to take a different direction. So it's not telling you to do one thing or another. It's telling you to reevaluate, right? To question those things, to spend some time thinking about, you know, your commitments, your promises, and all that kind of stuff. The tear there as well. Have you committed to things, Gemini, where I'm getting a lot of stuff about like prison. Like, have you committed to things that have ultimately made you feel very trapped? Taurus had an element of this as well. It's almost like they manifested stuff so well that they actually ended up with too much responsibility. With the wolf and this part of yourself that wants to kind of bloom, and the idea of commitments, have you got yourself into situations where you've committed to things? And this could be work projects, it could be you know, helping out friends, you could be going, you know, you've committed to a health regime, you know, I'm going to go to the gym this day, this day, this day. Anything where you've made a promise, a commitment, like what are they called, like what do you do, New Year's resolutions and things like that as well. But it's got you trapped in a cycle that is, yes, and it could even be that this is a really good thing for you, right? If this is like a healthcare thing, it could be really, really good for you because you're getting a lot of benefit from it in one area of your life. But because your time and attention is going to certain commitments, there could be other parts of yourself, other parts of your nature that aren't getting to come out and play, but they need expression, they need playtime. So again, it's kind of like all work and no play make Jack a dull boy, right? So it's like the wolf needs catharsis. So it could be that there's some kind of more aggressive part of your nature that needs to come out, in which case, you know, for example, me and my family have been playing GTA a lot. So, you know, does your naughty side need to come out and play? Do you need to hang out with friends who, you know, are a bit mischievous? Don't feel like you can't, you know, again, especially if you're doing something where it's like you've reinvented yourself. It's like, I'm not who I was anymore. I'm not that person anymore. I would say that we're all things. Like a true human soul is all things, right? It's everything. All the people, all the signs, all the energies, it's everything. You know, every human experience is contained in that soul. But how it presents, how it comes forward, can mean that sometimes our identity morphs and shifts and changes. This is completely normal. It doesn't mean that you're not authentic, Gemini. I think people can often accuse you of that. It's not true. It's just that you're adaptive. You're not a fixed energy. You're an adaptive energy. You're an energy that plays and creates and tries things on, and that's a positive thing because there's movement there. When people become too like fixed and stubborn and traditional and square, it can be like a roadblock energy. So you're not. You're a creative thinker, innovator energy, similar to like Aquarius, I'd say, or perhaps some of the fire signs. So yeah, like yeah, I'm getting this kind of like almost like cuffed energy, right? It's like you're chained to things. So if you're rejecting, in that case, right, if you've reinvented yourself, if you're saying this is the new me, I'm the new me, like takes care of the health, they go to the gym, they show up for people, right, you're doing all these things, but then there's an aspect of yourself that's perhaps you consider it to be a little bit darker, you know, something that you want to distance yourself from. Maybe it's an old way that you used to behave, maybe it's something to do with your reputation, and you're like, I don't want to be that person anymore. You'll never not be that person, right? And the reason why, and I'm not saying that you can't change and do better, you know, you can and make better choices. That's not what I'm saying at all here, Gemini. What I'm saying is you are the person that you are today because of who you were in the past. You know, that past self is always your past. It's always your memory. So, and it's important to acknowledge that because that's where you've learned the lessons. You know, we grow as people, we develop by making mistakes. There's no such thing as mistakes. There's just happy little accidents, right? We make mistakes because we learn. So again, you can say, I'm not who I was in the past. I am not going to make the same choices that I did in the past. But I acknowledge that that part of myself still needs acknowledgement and expression in some sort of way, whether it's through writing a memoir or writing poetry or playing a computer game or watching a movie that kind of reminds you of that aspect of yourself. Give it expression, give it space, right? Because that, and again, because when we do these things, it gives it growth in a way where we can make it healthier. What's the example they're trying to give me? They're giving me gardening references. So like, say for example, it's not coming through properly. They're kind of giving me like a sick plant, like how you trim back the bad bits off a sick plant and it grows stronger. And they're giving me the Cardigan song again. I knew you. So maybe there's someone who, maybe you've got friends or family members or something, Gemini. Maybe that's what's going on here, where perhaps you have changed, right? You're doing really well for yourself. Kind of making me think, again, I've been playing GTA, so this is kind of one of the characters, Franklin. It's kind of his story. He starts out kind of as a bit of a street thug, right? And he's doing like petty crime. And he kind of starts to, you know, according to the story of the game, he starts to feel like he's doing better for himself. You know, he gets a nice house. You know, he starts to think of himself as being more respectable, more legitimate. And there's this scene with his friend who sees right through it. Right? He's like, you know, I knew you back when, kind of thing. So it's like you can polish a turd, kind of thing. I'm not calling Franklin a turd. That's rude. It's rude to an entire demographic. It just came out because they gave it me and I said it and I was like, I don't want to say that, but it was too late. It was out of my mouth. It's but that's the thing. He's not a turd. He has that self perception Franklin's character, he's trying to improve himself because he's trying to be what he thinks he needs to be. And by becoming what he thinks by chasing that concept of the better version of himself, he's actually alienating himself from who he was in the past and from his old friends. He's actually got no friends at this point in the story. So it's like, is it worth it? Is it worth it to, I don't know, it's something about the balance, Gemini, because it's like you're chasing something and giving something else up. Those crows are really, I love them, they're cute, they're friendly, they are like guardian energy for me. A long time ago, I was watching a tarot reading and they said, you've got black crows around your house, pay attention to the black crows around your house, or the black birds around your house. And lo and behold, like, it's turned into such a communication tool from spirit for me. Yeah, I remember I broke down in my kitchen because I went down to I think I was going through something. I was really kind of like, it was in the early stages of kind of waking up spiritually, and there was a lot of stuff that I was kind of questioning, and I was kind of still in disbelief. And I remember I went downstairs to my kitchen and there was this black crow just on my wall looking right at me and watching me. And it was very unusual, and it was immediately following that reading, and I just broke down and I was crying on my kitchen floor, you know, to get that kind of confirmation. Gemini, trust. Trust the unknown, trust the unseen. You are protected. This is a protective energy. Oh, I saw a duck as well. Yeah, I had a vision of a duck. I was getting all sorts of visions. I've not written them all down. What was the duck coming through with? Can't remember. I think there's a little bit more with the duck book. And again, we've got 32, so again with those numbers. Tell me about the rose, please, for Gemini. There's stuff that's going on very subtly for you. Trust your intuition at this time. Oh, that's so cute. They're all lined up. They don't normally do that either. It's like they're keeping me company or watching me. Voice. Speaking your word voice. Trust the words that come from within. And speak authentically. Trust yourself, speak authentically. Whoa, I'm dizzy. Right. Sorry, I'm just getting all the personal messages. 5 of Cups. There could be some disappointment. There could be a feeling of, again, distance, things that, especially if you've moved away from old friendships, you know, people who perhaps, you know, you knew that they weren't right for you. Perhaps they kept on getting you into trouble. Perhaps they encouraged the kind of worst behavior. There's better relationships coming in for you at this time that are more equal to you, that are more in alignment with the new you. And I'm hesitant again to say like the old new, the new you. If you think time's not linear, you know, if you think about things in terms of phases, the phase that you're in, there could be people who are more, yeah, what did I say? Trust the voice, oh my God, trust the voice within. So I think it was when my dad was, I don't know if it was the night that he was in hospital and I came home for just a nap, basically. Like me and my stepmom kind of did shifts through the night where I was with him, she went home to feed the dog, she came back, I came home to try and have a bit of sleep, and I went back. I don't know if it was that night or like, I think it was the morning when I woke up, or the morning that I woke up after he'd passed, because again, it was within a day, right? And I asked for a song. I asked Spotify for a song. It was the first song that I asked for, and it was The Voice Within by Christina Aguilera, which was a song that played when my mum died. Trust the voice within. So spirit is speaking to you, your soul is speaking to you, you know what to do. If you feel like you're not capable at this time, Gemini, if you feel like you can't trust yourself, you can. Trust the voice within. Spirit's got your back. You've got that high priestess energy. Trust what your soul is telling you. Trust what you know intuitively. There's a lot of strength there, Gemini. They're giving me that Taylor Swift song. I knew you dancing in your Levi's underneath the streetlight. Trust and Five of Cups. Trust and Five of Cups. Trust these phases. Trust the Five of Cups energy. Trust that. I mean, the Five of Cups can be grief. That's why it's got this like death's head moth here, right? Symbolic of transformation. Transformation, if you think of things as transformation and phases rather than endings. Trust this, because the Five of Cups can be grief, right? Trust that there's meaning to this. Trust that there's purpose for this. Trust that this is something that you can grow through, right? There's the hardest moments of our lives, those kind of not milestone, but those kind of those fixed moments in time that are unchangeable, that have a huge impact on us. The hardest parts are the richest parts in terms of life experience and lessons and soul growth. Everything has value. And yes, this may be a dark period for you, but trust. And again, wolf energy. Wolves are really intuitive, right? Trust your instincts. The Two of Cups. Yeah, the Two of Cups is here. That Two of Cups energy. I'm gonna ask more about the Two of Cups energy for you, because there's something going on there. It's almost like your own, again, it's like your own anima or your own animus. Again, it's the twins, right, Gemini? The voice within. What is this? It's like almost like the new you that's being birthed, right? It's almost like you, because you are the twins, you're two in one, right? So it's like you've got your own back. Again, talking about like anima and animus, but there's something about the Two of Cups for you. Voice and High Priestess, what is it? Okay, what I was kind of getting with my dad, I was brushing my teeth last night, and I inherited my dad's eyes. I've got my dad's eyes and his nose, unfortunately. And unfortunately, but fortunately, right? Because it's, when you love something about someone else, you can love it in yourself. So I was brushing my teeth and I looked into the mirror and my dad was looking back at me. I was looking at my dad's eyes, which was a really kind of freaky moment. It, you know, obviously made me cry, the impact of it. And obviously I look at my own face all the time, and I've never seen, and obviously I can look at my own face and see that I've got some of my dad's features, but I've never had a moment like that where I've looked in the mirror and it was my dad. And I didn't have it with my mum, because obviously I've got my dad's eyes, not my mum's eyes, so I never had that. And it was the most profound moment of my dad was looking back at me through the mirror. So again, it's like perhaps when people are in spirit, perhaps their soul becomes a part of our soul. What was the song that was coming through? It was like, I think I added it to my dad's playlist. They always have like playlists for people when they pass over. Again, it's just a cathartic thing that I do. There was a song that was like, I'm going to have to look it up. Sorry, hold on. I'm not sure which one it was. Well, it's saying something like that. Maybe I'm not meant to say it. Maybe it's too personal. Because sometimes that happens. If I'm not meant to say something in a reading, it'll just be taken out of my head. I won't be able to remember it. And sometimes I just say things like polishing a turd, which, you know, they just put into my mouth, and before I have the chance to stop. It's funny how that works. You know, things like the Elvis Presley song, just... Strength. Oh, and the Five of Pentacles. there's something that Spirit's protecting you from. High Priestess, again, look at this. Spirit's protecting you from something. It's like you've got this big shield or bubble around you. Because the Five of Pentacles can feel shut out. The Five of Pentacles can be like financial loss, a door closed to you, but it's coming through almost like Four of Pentacles energy for some reason. It's almost like, you know, the universe puts obstacles in your path in order to prevent you from going down a road that would not have been suitable for you. Something's going on here where you're being shut out from something, but it's for your own good. What example could I give you? And it's like, you know it, right? It's almost like you have an ability to see behind a door that's closed to you, and you know that you're not supposed to be on the other side of that door. Seems like interesting with the lion twice, because the Chimera had a lion's head. My dad was a Leo. There's a lion on this card. So it does feel, it feels like, oh, I nearly got it again. Right, it's something to do with, it's some kind of concept of, oh, it's Taylor Swift, isn't it? It's Marjorie, I think. Is it Marjorie? It's something to do with people living on through, in your own heart and through your own thoughts. Like when you, almost like Coco, if you've seen the movie Coco, which again, if you're going through grief and things, brilliant movie to watch, absolutely 100% recommend. You know, we keep people alive in our minds. That's it. Oh, full body goosebumps, spirit bumps. They're never gone because they're with us. And so for me, my experience is through experiencing a lot of loss recently in my life. It's not lost. It's not lost. This is the thing. It's not lost. They've not gone anywhere. They've changed form, and my relationship to them is very, very different now. But almost like my High Priestess energy is getting stronger and stronger and stronger the more loved ones are on the other side, because I do believe that our loved ones can work magic for us in different ways when they're on the other side. So my own personal intuition has been getting, like, my psychic abilities, my intuition, my ability to just know what's happening, it's been really peaking. Because I know that they're there. Because now they're my voice within, right? They're a source of strength for me within. So again, I'm talking very, very personally in this reading, but I do think that, you know, personal experience can be relatable. And if you're going through similar things, perhaps this is something you're also experiencing. Perhaps you're also feeling people are part of you now. I love that Marjorie song. If I didn't know better, I'd think you were singing to me now. And again, I've heard so many songs that I've been hearing. Oh, to be or not to be. Yeah, sorry, they reminded me. I kept on getting that Hamlet quote. It's a different one from To Be or Not to Be. It's from Act 5. The preparedness is all. If it be now, let it not be now. If it not be now, let it be now. I may be misquoting slightly, but it is that kind of energy. And it was someone else that pointed it out to me. It's actually my stepdad who pointed it out to me. He was like, 2 B's, to be or not to. I was like, to be or not to be. Okay. Oh, I'm glad to have done this reading, because again, it's difficult to come back to. It's difficult to come back to the channel kind of with personal news to share, because again, I have to kind of like, it's difficult to know when you should be getting back on with things, right? And again, worrying about the judgment of others. It's like, we know what's right for us. We know what's capable of for us. We know what's healing, and this is healing for me. This is processing. And if it's healing for me and it can be healing for others, then it's a good thing to do. Okay, I'm going to put that Taurus reading up, but just know that it was recorded on Tuesday morning, just because, again, there could be a timing factor with you guys. So I'm going to the Rose Oracle here. I've been using, I'll just quickly show you this mega deck, this huge deck that I've been using, are all Stacey DeMarco decks, if anyone's interested in getting any of those. Guardians of the Night, Queen of the Moon, Elemental, Divine Oracle. This one here, The Vow, this kind of circular deck is Kim Cran's Archetypes Guidebook. I've also been using the Tarot de la Nuit, which is this absolutely, probably one of the most beautiful decks that I own. Just show you the artwork of that. Angel of the Night, again, High Priestess energy, Angel of the Night, very, look, the sun's underneath that. The sun. And the end of burdens, dropping the burdens, and having that healing nectar energy coming through, right? Being able to pull that through as a high priestess, being able to pull the divine down to earth, that kind of nectar of the gods energy, that pure creation, pure love energy, being able to tap into it, to find it and to pull it down. Again, maybe do some meditation work, some chakra work. Okay, what do we have, please, from the Rose Oracle? We've got the rose here. Why is the rose here, please? I didn't know better. Singing to me now. The Anointed, answer the call, leadership, empowerment, soul gifts. Interesting leadership with the lions. Soul gifts as well. It's like stepping into this responsible leader energy, stepping into this new phase where you are, it's like you have the mantle kind of energy. The Sacred Walkers, the Sacred Walkers. That feels like a walking group name, right? Maybe you are, maybe you go on like a walking group and you call yourself the Sacred Walkers. Nourishment, replenishment, health, rest and self-care. Absolutely. What was I saying? Absolutely. Right. A real message of this group of readings so far. You know, you need to, especially Gemini, if you are a caretaker for somebody else, you need to look after yourself. You know, you can't look after everybody else if you're running on empty. If I didn't know better. Such a beautiful deck, really is. The sacred waters are life-giving. Again, what was I talking about? The sacred waters are life-giving. I've been talking about drinking herbal teas as well. The sacred waters are the life-giving mother of us all. Her healing waters replenish us and give us life. We are made up of her. Like the rose, we need her waters to survive and thrive. We must drop our roots deep to oh gosh, that's reminded me of something else I had to say. So sorry, just to kind of interrupt myself there. The idea of like your roots being deep, right? Where are you disconnected from your ancestry? Where are you disconnected from your background, your past? You need that, right? There's nutrients there for you in terms of soul growth and memories and personal development, and being able to see your own progress as well if you have come from a more challenging situation. So again, that idea of like things that look good on the surface and being tried to, you know, kind of being sold a lie, like people trying to make money out of you through deception. It was because I was looking at my cactuses, so they're a little bit dusty. So I had this cactus and I bought it because I thought it was really pretty with the flowers on it, but the flowers are actually just like made of paper and like glued on. They're not real flowers. So I don't know, there's something false, you know, the false beauty of that. That's kind of where that message came from. Also, I've actually just got, my eyes have fallen on this kind of like rose paperweight that I've got as well. So again, something to do with like flowers and blooms seems to be a theme of your reading. And then I'm going to show you this plant as well. Now it's looking worse for wear because this cactus, I'm not the best plant owner, guys. Don't judge me. I'm bad with all plants. My avocados are doing well. But can you see it's like it fell out and it was really hard to, because it's so spiky and aggressive, it's really hard to get it back into its pot. So its roots are actually disconnected from its pot and it started to go kind of like yellow and sickly, looking a bit like my nails. Yeah, so that's where that message came through of things that like seem appealing on the surface, but they've got no depth, right? They've not got any roots. So there's something about that for you as well. Just remember your roots, remember your core. We must drop our roots deep to receive the nourishment we so deeply need, to appreciate, protect, and honour the very thing that we take for granted. The Mother of the Sacred Waters delivers the message to slow down and take care of yourself, particularly your body. To prioritize your well-being, this is what I was saying to my dad, to prioritize your well-being and live in a way that's sustainable. She reminds us to replenish and nourish ourselves and take care of our health all the time, not just when we feel unbalanced. It's also what I've been saying to my stepmom as well, because we've all got this cold now. You're being called to nourish and replenish yourself before you become brittle and parched. The Mother of the Sacred Waters wants you to know that there's nothing more important in your life than the care of your own sacred vessel of a body, and the earth is an extension of that. She wants you to treat yourself with tender care, to cherish your body and hers, to fill your well until it spills over, and once it does, to find a way to give back from this place of plenty, to give your body what it's yearning for most before it turns into an urgent need. What is your body yearning for? And this is again a very, very important message that I am really kind of doubling down on this week. Also, it's 104. Again, seeing the numbers 1 and 4 a lot. You've only got one body, right? This lifetime, I believe that the soul is lives forever, but I believe that our physical body is almost like a car, right? You have a car, you drive it around, and then you might go and get another car. I think it's the same with the soul, but we only get one vehicle this lifetime here on earth, and you want to make sure that you look after it, because then you can enjoy it and then you can do enjoyable things. But if you're running that car on empty, if you're running that car on fumes, it's only a matter of time before other things start to go wrong with it. And again, I lost my dad to basically a virus. It wasn't COVID, and had his body been physically more healthy, I believe that he would have had a better chance at fighting it, but he lost that battle. And it's a lesson. Again, I'm talking about the things that teach us lessons. The lesson of, are we stuck in bad habits? Are we repeating negative behaviors, especially in terms of our body and our health? So maybe drinking too much. Are we getting enough sleep? Are we resting ourselves? Are we nurturing ourselves? Are we running around trying to look after everybody else but running on empty ourselves? Do we need to take time off work to rest and heal? We don't want to experience that burnout, because when we experience burnout, we are actually too vulnerable to things that, to viruses and things that we'd normally be able to fight off. It's an important lesson to learn. It's an important lesson to learn when to say no. So, for example, I normally work on Sundays. I'm recording this on Sunday, and obviously I spoke to my boss and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to be like. And I did need the day off. But I'm kind of like, you always feel bad, right? You always feel guilty about taking the time off. And then I've got a bug, so I would have had to have it off anyway. And it is, at the moment, I just need to be in the house. I need to take it easy. I need to take care of myself. I need to rest. I need to sleep. And that's the phase that I'm in now. And that's okay, right? I don't owe anybody an explanation for that, really. So yeah, I don't know. Take that. Just take care of your body. Take care of your body, because you only get one. Right, and that's probably the best advice I could possibly give you right now at this point in my own life. So let's get you it's 1551. It's almost like we've gone from 1441 to 1551. It's almost like we've made a step, right? We've made progress here. Okay. Go and get yourself some herbal teas, guys. I swear, like the Twinings teas as well, like, you think you're just paying for the name, right? You think you're paying for the branding, but for me, like, they were actually really good. I don't know. You figure things out for yourself. It's not me for me to tell you anything. Bambolina by Giorgio Gaber. That's from a film. What film's that from? It's Italian, so maybe somebody's Italian. Bambolina dimmi tu, Bambolina dico a te, Bambolina vieni qui. Sorry, my Italian's still really bad. Bambolina vieni non mi dire di no, quante volte mai. I'm gonna stop embarrassing myself. Let's Google it. Bambolina, Giorgio Gaber. Bambolina, Giorgio Gaber. Should we get them in? Should we get them in English? I wonder what film it's from. I know I got it from a film. I don't know. I guess it's one of those where it's like if it means something to you, it means something to you. What film is it from though? Let's check that out. The Truth, Brigitte Bardot. It's from a Brigitte Bardot film. She was beautiful, wasn't she? Maybe that's somebody's name as well, Bridget. So, and again, The Truth. We started out with the sword, and we've got we end with the truth. So I really hope this reading was helpful for you. I hope it was healing for you, if that's what you needed from today's reading. Obviously, it was very intensely personal for me, and I'm still not 100% ready to talk about it, kind of publicly, at least like this. But at the same time, I think that it's important to share our experiences because they are shared experiences. You know, there's certain things that you are guaranteed to encounter, and it's being born and dying. You know, and it's not something we shouldn't talk about. And I think that's why films like, for example, Up, the movie Up, and Coco, and there's other films as well that deal with themes of grief and loss and acknowledge the pain of that, but also help us to process. I don't know if you need to go out and find songs and music like Marjorie, right, and My Tears Ricochet, all these things that shouldn't be kept in the dark. It shouldn't be something that we feel we need to bottle up and not share. There's a time, I guess there's a time and a place, I don't know, and you'll know when it's the time and the place with the High Priestess and voice. I'm going. I hope the reading was helpful to you. F's in the chat, guys. I don't know, like, don't feel like you need to kind of like give me any messages. I appreciate them, but I don't need them. So that takes the onus and the pressure off you guys, because I know sometimes you feel like, oh my god, what do I say? How do I respond? Do I need to say something? I'm okay, guys. Like, if you want to say something, I appreciate it. If you don't, absolutely fine. I'm doing quite well. And take care of yourselves. I'm going to start this reading on 1/11/11 on purpose because I'm like that. Bye.